I'm sorry. Anything else under a personalia that you want to share with us? Colleagues, anyone who had birthdays, but I know Erna normally shared the birthdays with us. No one who's birthday today.
We have one birthday girl today. Her name is Malefu Moposho. So happy birthday to Malefu today.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Anna. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip.
Hooray.
You must enjoy.
Thank you.
You must enjoy a fantabulous birthday, and may you really experience blessings from our master above.
Thank you so much, sisters. Thank you, colleagues.
You're welcome. I know it's Penyo there behind.
No, he's not, but at 5 o'clock he was already awake singing a happy birthday.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
That's great. Yes. Any other personalia colleagues? Right. Setting of the agenda. Is there anyone who wants to add anything on our agenda? Okay. In case there's no one from who wants to set anything for the agenda, Anna Marie, can you display the minutes of our previous meeting? Right. Anything on page 1 that needs to be corrected? Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Right. Do we adopt these minutes as a true reflection of the meeting we held on the 6th of November? Who proposes adoption? Am I audible?
Matilda
Okay.
proposes adoption.
Matilda, and then seconder. Thank you, Tilly. Seconder.
I will second.
Thank you very much, Keho. Thank you. Right.
Sorry, Chair.
Mudise is seconding. Mudise Moremi from Velcom. Yes, Betty.
Yes, apologies for taking you back to point number 3 of the agenda, personalia. It only dawns to me now that the last time we met was last year. I think it's proper that we recognize our colleagues who have retired, our CUT colleagues. We have 3 colleagues who have retired, particularly Jeanette. Jeanette has been very active in LIASA with regard to the shelvers competition. My colleagues at CUT will help me with the names of the colleagues who have retired. Just wanted to thank them on behalf of LIASA, for the contributions that they've made.
Yes. Dora, can you share the details with us?
Yes, please. Morning, colleagues.
Morning, Dora.
Thanks, Ms. Betsy, for reminding us. It is Jeanette Ponyani, the other Jeanette, and then Maki Maile, as well as Wilhelmine Stein.
Thank you very much. Those are colleagues we worked with who was really active in our activities most of the times. So really, we hope that they enjoy their retirement, and they enjoy the everything regarding retirements, grandbabies, and all those, and maybe trips if they are planning to have trips. They really must enjoy everything. Thank you very much, Betty, for adding that. Is very important that it is recorded and documented. There's one thing. Yes, Keho?
While we are on that point, I think we didn't mention in this meeting to congratulate you also on your new position as Director of Library and Information Service at the Free State. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Keho. It is highly appreciated. And thank you, Branch. You see, for you nominating me as the chairperson, it added on the CV. So I can also say thank you to the branch for really trusting me with a leadership a position. I hope that I wasn't doing bad. We have weaknesses, but I'm comfortable with my weaknesses, because I don't even look at them. I just look at the positive side. So thank you so much for and for the guidance that I've always been receiving from people like Erna, who will say, Jeanette, this is how things are done. People who will always remind. Sometimes Dora will chip in and advise and say, Jeanette, that is not how things have been done. And Betty as well will also say, this is how we do things. So all those advices, really, I'm so grateful for, and thank you very much, colleagues. Right. Yeah, I see the chat box. People are commenting in the chat box. Possibly we'll have this recording, and then we can at the later stage, some of us, look at the. But I will also keep on as reading what is in the chat box. Right. So with regards to the minutes, we have adopted the minutes. Matters arising from the minutes, I think we must have included the equipments. The equipments, and then we held a meeting on Wednesday, and then we realized that we didn't move an inch to get the equipments. And then I'm going to ask Anna Marie at a later stage that we display the treasurer's report, that we have some money in our check account. We are not displaying the investment. The investment, we will share it at the AGM. So for now, we will display the check account, what is in the check account. So Neo has sent us the revised quotations. We have given him a go ahead, so that he speaks with HESMA, and then everything is delivered. I think maybe before the end of March or before the end of April, we will have the equipments, and then we will share them with the branch to say, these are the equipments that we have. So I'm very excited. That is why when I started this meeting, I said I was very excited. Really, we are going places, and I love the advices that you membership always give us, and your contribution. It is because of your contribution that we are moving in this direction. I think we will be the first branch to have equipment, although I know the president will say, Jeanette, that is LIASA's property. And of course, it is LIASA's property. Right. Thank you very much. I see Betty's commenting. Thank you very much for the honor, my director. Right. And then any other matters that you feel from the previous minutes that you feel we must include in this agenda? I spoke about the equipments. All right. In case there are no matters, I'm going to look at new matters, and then when I look at new matters, I am going to include, I don't know if Neomole Malaysia, the cloud storage. I think Anna Marie, new matters. What should we put it under? I think under it might be 7.2. Make it 7.2. 7.2. Yeah, cloud storage. Yeah, right. So with regard to the 7.1 chairperson's quarterly report, I don't have a report, but I didn't attend the rep council meeting because I was on my way to Joburg. So I asked Anna Marie to attend on our behalf. So when we had our BEC meeting, I think she had load shedding. Or no, she had training, so she couldn't give us a feedback. So we said no, she will share with the branch together with us, the BEC, the feedback today with regard to the rep council meeting that was held that other week on Thursday. Anna Marie.
Okay, let me just open my document on this side that I've prepared.
Yes.
There we go. The REPCO members, as we know, there was a vacancy in the REPCO for the national PRO. So the REPCO members approved the move of Ms. Nora Murat to the portfolio of national PRO. That was the one point. Then they mentioned that branch and interest group vacancies are a concern. The president urged the executive committees of all branches to schedule a meeting with the National Executive Committee to discuss the issues and challenges that each branch face. So there's an expectation that our BEC branch, that our BEC of the branch will have a virtual meeting with the EXCO to discuss the situation in the branch as all branches, right? Then the president mentioned the highlights on the LIASA calendar for the next 6 months. And these include the launch of the South African Library Week, LIASA restructuring, the May seminar, the LIASA Academy, South African Librarians Day, and the national and branch elections. So she didn't expand, she just mentioned that those are the highlights for the next 6 months. And then there was a discussion about the elections. This is an election year which didn't take place last year, so both provincial and national elections will take place. Only fully paid up members of LIASA can run for office. So if you plan on making yourself available for election, make sure that you're a paid up member. The voters' roll closes on 31 May, so members are encouraged to renew their membership before that date. So that was basically what that meeting was about.
Okay. No, it was the normal stuff that, you know, in fact, it was an annual plan. Eh? They were just maybe highlighting the LIASA annual plan, the National Office annual plan, sharing with the Rep Council. I think it is a good thing that at least, you know, because of COVID, you know, they are trying to put something for us so that, you know, we get that sense of belonging. And for the library week, I think somebody didn't mute. Right. And again, our branch was the first people to send an email to National to say, what is the theme? What is the theme? Yeah, I sent an email to Anna Marie to say, what is the theme for 2021 South African Library Week? Then Anna Marie said, Jeanette, I will come back to you. Nikki's attending a SCEXAL conference in Namibia. And then she contacted our president-elect Nazim. So I'm glad that our branch, even Erna was saying, Jeanette, what is the theme? So I like the fact that our branch is really our branch has the interest, you know, we maybe they should put, they must make us national. Although, you know, we do small things, although they are big, but, you know, to us, we'll say they are small for us because we are a smaller a province. So thank you very much for really making sure that, you know, we keep the national office active with regard to our schedule. And then, as also Anna Marie has sent you our annual schedule. Our annual schedule is subject to change. We are still looking at the regulations, COVID regulations. We have two. I see the director, Betsy.
Now, I just wanted to ask 2 questions with regard to
Yes.
the report.
Yes.
May I?
Yes.
Yes, with regard to the elections, Anna-Marie, is the understanding that the elections will then be held at the conference this year, not anytime sooner? And 2, with regard to the national PRO, are we privy to be informed about the rationale or the reasons why Synovia has left the office? I know she struggled with COVID. She was very emotional about it. So I don't know if maybe that is the reason why she is no longer taking part in EXCO. It's a bit concerning because she's from the Free State, you know, and we do not want to be regarded as people who opt to be elected and then along the way not cooperating with the rest of EXCO members. Thank you.
I will answer the one of Synovia.
Sorry, Jeanette,
Yeah.
can I maybe first reply as I was in that meeting?
All right.
Betsy, about the national PRO, that part is seen as confidential. It was also not recorded in the meeting, so I think we stay with that. It's confidential. If Jeanette has something to add,
Yeah.
in the meeting it was stated that it's not even recorded, so it's confidential. About the elections will take the normal timeline as any other election year. So it's not only at the end of the year. So I think from the branches side, we'll communicate the dates well in advance as they come up. For now, the important one is that the voters' roll closes on 31 May. So everybody who wants to vote and everybody who wants to be votable should please just make sure that they're paid up members by that stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna Marie. Thank you for that report. We will wait for the email for the, and if you haven't paid membership, I think by the end of April you must have paid your membership, ne? So pay. This year I also paid late. I paid at the end of February. So put Synovia in your thoughts. She hasn't been well. I think she took a dive and you know, we have really been very supportive, and I don't think that we are doing enough, but she's not in a good space, and yeah, so that's what I can say about her. Put her in your thoughts. She stays alone, and I think also on my part I'm failing her, because really I should be a frequent visitor at her house as her manager as well. Yeah, but last year Geho and I went to pay her a visit because of the reasons that you are asking, Betsy, what's going on. And then she really shared with us the challenges she experienced. She's so emotional. This COVID thing, it really has hit her very emotionally, like you mentioned earlier on. So she's always nervous. She doesn't even want to go out because she stays alone. So if something happens, who will help her? And then again, she lost members of her family and she couldn't even attend the funerals. But in December, I gave her leave that she can go home, because she said she didn't go home that other year, December. But last year, December, she went home so that she could be with her family. And when she came back, she said she felt better, but I doubt she's better. I think she's just trying to cope. So we must keep her in our thoughts. Thank you very much. Right. So that is the chairperson's report. I'm very excited also about, but now, like I'm saying, we are waiting for COVID regulations to, you know, to be put aside. When things go well for us, we have a very interesting project that, you know, I can't even sleep about it, when we are going to launch that a reading park in Bato location. Yo, I'm looking forward to that day. You know, I think we must make it a very, very festive occasion. And then again, I'm also very excited about the plans that we have with regard to launching the manuscripts of the little ones from the reading extravaganza last year. So we are just waiting for COVID regulations to be set aside, and then we moved in swiftly. Those are our the projects for 2021. But now, if COVID is still there, then yeah, but we have other plans. As if you look into the annual plan, where we will invite publishers so that they can also share with us a tips on publishing. So those are things that we are looking at. So those are interesting things that we are excited about as the branch that we are going to implement in 2021. And as we speak like this, people must raise hands for leadership positions. I remember when a call for nominations was made, I said to myself, "Phew, I can only be the secretary." And Betsy called me into her office and she said, "G, you can do better. I'm nominating you as the chair." I was like, yo, how will I manage to be the chair? And I was looking, you know, Leanda was doing amazing things. I was like, yo, yeah, no, this is a powerful position. Here I am. Here I am. So never underestimate yourself. Don't look down upon yourself. You are surrounded with a committee, and the committee always supports. I work with a very amazing committee. They just chip in, and you know, they just assist. Where my hands are tight, they chip in. So raise up your hand. Don't be scared. And we at this current BEC, we were saying to ourselves when we spoke on Wednesday that we are going to do a proper handover, and we will avail ourselves for advice when the need arises, so that people shouldn't feel lost. So we will support you, and we will give you guidance and encouragement and motivation and inspiration. So when the time comes and your name is called, do not despair. Do not despair. Raise up your hand and say, yes, I will take forth the baton of the UFS Free State branch moving forward. Right. Now, the next item on our agenda, 7.2, a cloud archive. We have so much documents. You know, we have documents, we have minutes, we have agendas, we have reports, we have presentations by different people we invite to our branch. But now, where are those documents? So we requested a Nomole Melody to develop a cloud archive for us, so that all these documents can be filed. And then we will have the password to this archive, and then the password will be given to the secretary, the chair, and the chair-elect of the upcoming committee. So we are still waiting for Neo to develop that archive and share the link with us. So he said it's going to be on Google Drive, I think. And then we will take it from there. So whoever is so that the next committee doesn't struggle, they have the documents right in front of them, the invitations, the posters, and everything, so that they get an idea when they move forward. So I'm opening this for discussion, colleagues. What is your take on it? It's up for discussion.
It's Annemarie Bloemfontein. I think it's a very good idea, Jeanette, because it keeps the sort of organizational memory alive, or it keeps a it keeps a repository of that. So I think it's a very useful tool, and it's a very good idea.
Thank you very much, Annemarie. Any other person?
Jeanette, I also want to support this idea because I have been in different associations and meetings and stuff, and it's difficult when there's a new leadership. Then they don't know all the information there is available. So if everything can be kept together, it will just make the way forward much easier for new leadership.
Thank you, Tilly. Yeah, any other? Yes, Kiho?
I also want to second that, Jeanette, because you know, information gets lost along the way. So if we don't archive it, you know, we lose it. For example, when I was in Helich, I had my own file separately, but if we have an archive, then it's good, because then it was easy for me to hand over the Helich to Xolelo, the files. But now at least if we have Helich, we'll do a proper handover to the committee. If we have archive, yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Any other one who wants to comment on the archive? Right. Somebody is saying in the chat we forgot to mention that in personalia that Leander has left the branch. Yes, apologies for that. Leander has left the branch. She went to Pretoria. So I think the Pretorians have gained a lot, because now I think their branch is struggling here and there. But now with committed members like Leander, I think they have really gained a lot. So thank you for asking about Leander. Really, she was an amazing leader. You know, her contribution was just amazing. Right. Reports. Membership, Erna, I think you have shared the document with us, but just to, you know.
I can display the document if you want.
Yes, display the document, Anna Marie. Erna, are you still in the house?
Jeanette, I've seen that in the chats that you have said that there's someone who is attending to an email problem.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure
Okay.
she's not available at the moment.
Okay. So there is the document. Renewals were 45 by the 24th February. I hadn't by then renewed, but I know now that I have renewed. Possibly if she does the checkup again, she will find that the numbers have risen. Possibly others even have renewed at the end of a March. So total, we have 46 members, but like I'm saying for now, we might have more members. So we have a new member, Mr. Ngubani Olani from Nyakalom Public Library. If you are in the house, welcome to the branch. So I think Erna captured the document nicely there. So we don't see transfer from other branches. So yeah, so she has indicated that Leander has left, Miss Maile retired, Miss Ponyane retired, and Miss Velemin Stein also retired. So that is the membership report. So we can go back to the agenda. Helich, I don't know if you have anything that you need to report on, Oli.
Not yet, Ma. We're about to have a meeting, but not this time.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Leslie, Tilly.
Jeanette, Leslie had a workshop on the 11th of February. It was a Zoom workshop, and it was presented by Mr. Randolph Pienaar, and the meeting was attended by 15 people.
By how many people?
15.
Wonderful.
15.
Yes.
Okay. One of the prerequisites in order to attend the workshop was that you had to have your own Gmail or Google account, just in order to be able to do the examples that was given to us, that you can at least practice what Mr. Randolph Pienaar showed us. It was a jam-packed session because we looked at cloud computing. The theme was cloud computing online platforms. And some of the subjects we touched on was Google Workspace, Google Docs, Office 365, Google Drive, and Google Maps, with the focus on how to create your own map. It was a really long session with lots of valuable information. The only thing that is sorry to me is that you have so little time in your day to go and check up all these things and to retry and to make sure you understand what all the value that this can add to your job. But I'm sure there are a few computer fundis who also attended this and who already know how to use all these different things that he has showed us. I think it was a very good workshop with a lot of relevant information to all of us.
Yes, I also wanted to attend the meeting so badly, but now I have meetings, you know, the meetings at that university. It's just meetings. You don't even get some chance to work. It's mostly meetings. So if I don't make it to the interest group meeting like I normally do, know that I'm really held up in meetings, or I have urgent submissions to send. Therefore, I'm just trying to put things together. Right. ICT, is Nemulimela in the house?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Maneo.
We haven't had any activities as yet. I was thinking I will use last year's program for ICT, except optimize it for online consumption. I think that would be the best way forward.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, just sit and plan, look at the annual plan that we did, and then take it from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just glad with the stamina that our interest groups are working. We are one of the best performing. I think we are the best performing branch, if I really have to say it like that, because last year when we attended the Rep Council and they were asking, other branches didn't do anything. It was only Western Cape. I think maybe they held a workshop or what, but now we had meetings. We had meetings and meetings. So really, I think our branch is performing the best. So I think we are really a role model branch for LIASA. And big ups to that to you colleagues, every one of you. Your contribution is just amazing every day. Right. The treasurer's report, I think you can display it. Hesma has a training session at postgraduate school, so she won't be able to join us. Anna-Marie, can you display the report?
Jeanette, I just see Betsy Eyster's hand is up. Let's give
Betsy? Okay, I didn't see the hand. Yeah, Betsy?
Thank you, Anna-Marie. I just wanted to ask about the school libraries interest group. Has Leander left with it? It used to be one of the functioning interest groups in our branch. I don't see it here.
Yeah, the person who was the chairperson is a teacher. So he didn't renew his, I don't know, we sent him countless emails. So he never participated. So we saw him in 2019 at the extravaganza, and we were asking him, and he said the school only paid late. So then when the school does it, but he wasn't really there. So when we sat with the branch, we said we will ask Mr. Mahura from the Department of Education to chair that interest group, because now most of our things are linked to the school. So it will be performance on his side as well. So that's what I was planning to write him an email to say he must take on that group, and then we will give him the necessary support. I mean, as the branch, our interest is also vested in schools. So yeah, basically that's that. Thank you, Director. Anyone else who wants to ask a question? Right. You can put the treasurer's report, Anna Marie.
Yeah, now I'm looking for now I'm looking for it. I had all my documents open, but now obviously that one is not. Wait, yeah, I don't see that one. I see. Ugh. Okay, give me a second. I think I have it on the memory stick on this side. Let me just check. Then I can just put in the memory stick.
Right. So as Anna Marie is looking on her memory stick, Neo has sent us the quotations because we are asking ourselves what happened, and then we realized that no, we didn't buy the equipment. So he shared with us on Wednesday the equipment. So when you look at this budget, and then maybe Neo, I think maybe we should have maybe done a what you call a budget presentation to say everything is going to cost this much, so that when the colleagues look at the financial report, they know that after we have bought the equipment, how much will be left in the budget, in the current account. Remember, we still have I think 30 in the investment account, but now in the current account. Anna Marie, are you winning?
I'm sharing it, Jeanette.
Wonderful. Wonderful. There you are, colleagues. At the moment, we have 15,817.12 cents in our current account. So we are going to buy equipment from this. And now when you estimate how much are we going to spend for the whole equipment, 8,000 or how much?
Yeah,
when you estimate?
Yeah,
Plus minus 8.
Eight. Yes.
Yeah, for everything. So you minus 8,000 from this, but this is just an estimation of, because the camera was 3,000, ne? 3 point something.
Yes.
Yeah, when with the email you send us, and then so I think it was the camera that was the most expensive, ne? Remember, it's a live streaming camera. It's not just an ordinary camera, it's a live streaming camera. So a membership along the branch can be able to, in case we have an event, they can be part of that event, although virtually. So, and then the speakers, I think the speakers are cheaper, ne? And the mic, they were plus minus 700 and something, ne? In terms of the quotation. I think maybe just for benefit of the doubt, for the sake of transparency, I believe more in transparency. Anna Marie, share that quotation with the entire membership so that they can also in their mind visualize how much will be spent. All right. Right. Yeah. So let's go back to our agenda. Right. I think we are done with our meeting. Now, the most important event of the day, we as the Free State branch are launching a book. So we are celebrating the South African Library Week. So this is the event for us to celebrate. I think I'm going to give over to Keho now to chair this this session. Keho, over to you.
Good morning, colleagues. It is a pleasure to have this session and to showcase our talent in the Free State. Jeanette has found, sorry, what? I can't see the agenda. Where's the agenda? Anna Marie? Yes, thank you. Has found this wonderful young man, Olebogeng Arsebolao, and who has written a powerful book that will touch young lives. And the title, as we had sent the invitation to you, it's Elevation Requires Isolation. So I'm going to hand over to Kolelwa to give more information and introduce our speaker. And from there, we will hand over to Mr. Monde Madiba, who will be the panel discussion after Olebogeng has shared with us his experience and his book, and encouraging us how to write as librarians and the young people in the library profession, how to go about, because I think we have a lot of knowledge resting in us and we can share it out there. We are custodians of information. I'm sure we have a lot to share with our community. So these are the kind of things we get exposed to and learn, that we can put pen to paper. Rich information. They say the richest place on earth is the graveyard, because people have died with a lot of knowledge and talent which they never shared with people to change lives. So it's a challenge to us as librarians to do that. And I'm going to hand over to Kolelwa. Kolelwa, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Saskejo. And yes, well, thank you very much to the chair as well for giving me this opportunity. I do not take it lightly. I'm introducing a speaker today. And so with the high rise of mental health, depression, and anxiety in our society, the time calls for writers and artists to reflect the times of our generation. We have seen a shift over the years with people coming out and talking more about mental illness and depression or anxiety through campaigns and also public dialogues and so on in their everyday life. But sadly, we also see that many are still dying in silence. So in his book, Elevation Requires Isolation, Olebogeng Riatile Sibulao opens up about his mental illness. So he describes the process as being an easy task. And I think it is no surprise when one is documenting his own lived experience. And I quote, "My goal with this book is to inspire only one person and show them that there is nothing to be ashamed of." The word has it on the social street that if he's not busy with his business or writing or selling his book, he's busy growing vegetable in his garden and working on his fitness goals. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the author of Elevation Requires Isolation, and we would like to hand over to Mr. Monde Madiba and Olebogeng to give us and unpack this wonderful book that he has written. Thank you very much.
Colleagues, thanks, Kolelwa. Can you hear me?
Yes,
yes, we can.
Thanks a lot. I'm not sure if Olebogeng is also on the line.
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Kolelwa, your opening remarks, as I was listening to you talking about this very important issue, which is about something to do with our minds. It brought to me the memories, or it reminded me, I think Olebogeng is going to also to touch on it. I'm not sure many people watched the Miss South Africa pageant last year, and the person who won, which is Shudufadzo, I think one thing that made her to win, it's a project. They asked all of them about if they were to win, what will be their pet project. And she mentioned mental health, and you could see the judges, because she's like, she she was talking about something that is really worrying everyone, and we are in the time of COVID. So she mentioned that she was passionate about this and wanted to talk about mental health. And also what came to my mind as I was listening to Kolelwa is, I'm not sure if you heard, you've heard the stories, it was in the news, Prince Harry and the wife, Meghan. And one thing that Prince Harry talked about is the mental health that, when you look at people like your Prince Harry or Prince William, I never thought that such people also go through such experiences. So I'm trying to say mental health it's a global issue. It cuts across all nations. It doesn't matter in terms of status, whether you are just an ordinary person on the street, or you are, as I've given an example, Prince Harry, that everyone is affected by it. Colleagues, I'm very excited to be talking to the author of the book, as Dolela has indicated, what has inspired him. But maybe if just to start, I just want to give a platform. The first question that I have is, why this title, Olebogeng? Why did you decide to use this title? Elevation requires isolation, if I may ask.
Okay, let me just do this. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you for having me. I appreciate the platform you have given me to come and discuss my book and talk about everything that's...
Ole,
Hello?
can you switch on the camera so that we can see you? Everybody wants to see the author.
Okay.
Yes, Exile as my brother.
Let me do this. There's something wrong with my Zoom. I'm trying to, it says allow Zoom camera to access your from device menu. I have to unlock it at my settings first. Let me quickly do this.
You're welcome.
Colleagues, I'm not sure. I know with this Zoom, it may put him off. Do you mind if we just allow him, if it's not working?
Yeah, if it is not working, he can proceed.
Yes, because his voice, I think, is audible enough.
Yes,
maybe
I
we'll
agree.
try and we know with librarians, I'm sure some of us were already Googling, we're looking at the name and then just to see maybe the face. Oliver King? If it doesn't work out, you can just go on. We will Google you.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back now. Let me see. There we go.
Yes.
Oh, wow. There we go.
That's our Ole.
Okay, welcome, Oliver King.
Thank you.
We're just excited to have you here. As you know, this is the library week. We're dealing with librarians. So we're very excited to have people like you, young people like you, contributing to the what we as Keiko has clearly indicated, we are the custodians. So we need people like you. So if I may just go back to maybe to rephrase my question. When it comes to writing, looking at you, you're a young person. What made you to think about to go this route and write?
Let me just get straight to the point. It was my mom. My mom is an author. She's already got 2 books out. So she's always encouraged me to pick up a pen and start writing from a very young age. She's always told me that my writing skills were immaculate and that I need to put it out there for people to read. So it all started last year. It all started last year in March when we were hit with lockdown. I asked myself, what is it that I'm going to do different from other people? What is it that I'm going to come, like, once this lockdown is over, what is it that is going to differentiate me from other people? You understand? So I just told myself that I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write about my life and my personal experiences, what I went through these past years and all of that. And I put it in a book.
Okay. So nice to hear about the role that your mother is playing in your life. I mean, I guess it runs, as they always say, it runs in the family. So you were like looking up to her, and that's a good thing. Maybe that's another lesson, maybe for like to us as like parents, that we should start communicating with children, with kids, and letting them know about the importance of reading and also writing. Now coming to your book, which I guess is still fresh from the oven, because you said you wrote it last year, and I was looking at the title. I think I asked you the question earlier. Elevation requires isolation. Why this title, if you were to be specific?
I chose this title because of a friend of mine. I was going through something. I completely isolated myself from a lot of people. I personally believe that it was depression. I was depressed and I isolated myself from a lot of people, from a lot of things. I stopped going out. I stopped seeing people. And I remember I was talking to him and I told him that I don't feel comfortable with what is going on right now in my life. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't like this feeling. And he just said these exact words to me. He said, elevation requires isolation. And that really hit home. It took some time to comprehend, but eventually I did. And I thought to myself that right now I'm under isolation and I'm starting to see my life change for the better. What if this man is actually telling the truth? What if I really need to isolate myself in order to be elevated? So that's when I was like, you know what? This is going to be the title of my book, Elevation Requires Isolation.
Wow, that is very interesting. Now, if I may move a little bit further, I understand it's about your life, and as individuals, we've got themes. I guess when you were drafting your this book, preparing as you were writing this book, you had some themes. Are there themes that are there in your books, or what are the different areas that you wanted to address as you were in that isolation? What was going through your mind, if I can use that word, your lived experiences? What are the areas that you are addressing in the book, your sub themes, so to speak?
Okay. Firstly, the big one was mental health, because I personally am a victim of mental health. I went through my own stuff. I was diagnosed with psychotic behavior. I was diagnosed with bipolar. So I wanted to talk about mental health and educate people and show them that there's nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to mental health. It happens to everyone. Some of them just don't notice it, but we all go through this. It's a normal thing. And then another thing is the educational system. I wanted to talk about the educational system and not necessarily critique it, but like just show people and teach them what they're not being taught in school. You understand? Just show them the hidden knowledge. So I spoke about the educational system and I told people why I dropped out of school. That's another thing people don't know. Well, people do know this, but you guys don't know. I dropped out of high school and I have my reasons, which I will share as we go on further. But yeah.
Okay, thank you. And you mentioned an important thing about you being diagnosed with this. For example, you mentioned bipolar, and you know, as human beings, I don't want you to put it in a specific race because I think it cuts across. How did you convince people to understand you? Because you know, with us as human beings, we're so quick to judge, and then we label people, we give them labels. How did you manage to navigate through those? Because you're saying you even had to drop out of school. How did you manage to convince people? Because well, I guess you were already given labels. That's what people normally do. And especially if they don't know what you are going through and then they are not in your shoes. How do you handle a situation like that?
Firstly, I didn't need to convince anyone, because I personally feel like if you want people to believe in you, you first need to believe in yourself, right? So that's all I did. I believed in myself, and I told myself that I am going to get through this. Things are going to be okay. And that's exactly how I moved. That's the type of energy I kept around me at all times. So it just happened. After some time, I just saw people starting to understand and what can I say? Understand and relate to my stories. Whenever I shared stories and told people about what I was going through, some of them were just like, they resonate with what I'm saying. You understand? What I'm saying resonates with them. So that's how I convinced people. Yeah.
So in other words, you were brave enough to go into an area, because I mean, when we talk mental health, people don't want to talk about it. So you're brave enough to say, I'm going to be an example, lead by an example, and tell the world what I'm going through, so that they can also learn from your experience. In terms of support, I mean, you've mentioned your mother as an author and someone that you look up to. I guess you when it comes to family support, what can you say about the importance of support from the family, from the community, as you're navigating through this very important health-related illness or mental health?
It is very crucial to have people behind your back, especially your family, when you're navigating through this kind of thing. Because once, for instance, if you get admitted into hospital and you get discharged, who do you go back home to? Your family, right? They are the people that are always around you. So you need them around you to be like a pivotal point. They need to be there for you and help you with whatever it is that you need, you understand? So I had my family, I had my close friends, they were there the whole time. No one judged me. No one was there to judge me and tell me that what I did was uncalled for. And that's exactly what you need. You need people who can understand what you're going through, people who know exactly what it is that you've done, and yeah.
That's very interesting. Another important thing that you mentioned is the education system. I guess listening to what you're saying, would you say that the education system, drawing from your experience, it failed you in terms of not giving you the necessary support in a way that maybe it led to you dropping out of high school? That is something that I'm guessing, because I'm saying that I always share this, that when I was growing up, at school, we used to have around 2 o'clock in my school, primary school, where we used to read. We were expected to read for an hour, and afternoon, drop your bag and read. But I remember, because I was very good and when it comes to reading, there were students that were now, with the benefit of hindsight, that those students, because when it was their turn to read, they couldn't. And once as an adult, I got to know about things like dyslexia, the embarrassment that those people were going through, because we used to laugh at they couldn't read. And now as an adult, I now can tell that those people, some of them, they even dropped out of school. I know them, they are still my friend, I grew up with them, but they dropped out with standard 2, standard 3, because they couldn't read. By the time they start reading, the teachers will say, next, you, the stupid, giving them all those labels, which I think they were demeaning. Did you also go through that type of experience? Because I feel our teachers are still not empowered to identify students who've got these mental health related problems.
I did not go through any of that. I was a good reader. I still am. I went through school just fine. I maneuvered just fine. The only thing that annoyed me was certain things that we were not being taught about. School did not prepare me for the real world. I finished school. Well, I didn't finish school. I dropped out of school, and I was faced with different challenges that school did not prepare me for. You understand? You're not being taught about money. You're not being taught about debt. You're not being taught about all these things that you're going to face in the real world, whereas this is where you spend most of your time. So I just felt like I was wasting my time, you understand? I was wasting my time and I wasn't getting the necessary information that I needed from school, you understand? That's why I personally felt like I need to drop out, I need to leave.
So in other words, it was not serving your needs, for example, because it's too traditional. You have to either go academic, you have to go to sciences or go to commerce, but you're not getting practical skills that are preparing you to, if you were to say you were given a chance to meet say the Department of Education, the MENG, what is it that you would suggest? What is, based on your experience, what type of education system you would like or you would have liked to go through? What type of empowerment skills or skills that you would have liked to get or to receive from this the minute you entered a school?
Non-traditional education. You see, the way things are operating at school right now, I wouldn't say the exact opposite, but I personally feel like things could be done a little bit different. There are a lot of skills that we could learn at school that we're not learning at the moment. For instance, meditating. You realize after school that meditating is something that is really, really important in life, something that really helps a lot of people, something that is very beneficial. Whereas in school, I did not know anything about meditating. No one taught me about it. Even in life orientation, no one tells you about it. Another thing, I want to learn how to make money. I want to learn how to run my own business. I don't understand how I can be taught how to write a CV, but never be taught how to write a business plan. It does not make sense at all. You understand? So basically, school is designing us to be employees. And I'll say this again, there's nothing wrong with being an employee, but not everyone wants to be an employee. Some of us wants to be CEOs, some of us wants to own our own businesses, you understand? So that's all I could say to her, honestly.
Okay, that's a really good point, because I mean that's maybe it's something that the department is busy. They should consider, because what comes to mind as I was listening to you is people like, for example, the owner of the Virgin Active or the group, who, as I was reading his book, that he was dyslexic. But look at him now. Look at what he has, the empire managed to build. So sometimes it's important that from the very young age, whether it's parents or teachers, they're able to identify all the skills or the children have, so that you can empower them and channel them to the correct areas, something that unfortunately you didn't experience. But looking at where you are now, have you managed to visit, or are you planning to visit schools, whether it's locally in your area, just to share these ideas, so that people, your students or the younger ones, can also be able to know that, because as I'm thinking now, there are students who are going through what you are going through, but they will need someone like you who's going to assist them, to guide them, so that they must not go through what you went through.
I wanted to visit schools. I actually went to a couple, but because of the because of COVID, they don't have assemblies anymore. They don't have quad meetings anymore. So it wouldn't be possible for me to go to schools at the moment. But as soon as the president has eased the regulations, then I'm definitely going to start visiting schools and educating my peers about certain things.
That will be really great, because I mean, when I'm listening to you, I'm like thinking about that kid who is now desperate and not knowing what to do, and not knowing that what he or she is going through is something that has happened to other people, and still going to happen to other people. And one thing that I also wanted to find out from you, in terms of the publication process, when you had to go through to the publisher, how difficult was it for this book to be published, taking it to these different publishers, or because of your mother, was it easy? If you can just fit me in there.
It wasn't really difficult. We literally used one publisher who's a family friend of ours. All I had to do was write the book and we sent it through to the editors and it was sent through to publishing. So it wasn't really a difficult procedure at all. It went smooth. It went smoothly.
No, okay, thank you. I just want to now to go to include the colleagues, whoever is listening. After you've heard what Oleboheng has gone through, what is it that you want to contribute? Whether you want to ask him a question or want to comment, I'm just opening the floor. I want to hear from you, colleagues, listening to what he has gone through. We've all gone through this. When I was listening to him talking about money, you know, my first 5 years, I'm starting to, if I were to go back to those years, there are so many things that I've committed. There are so many mistakes that I have made because I was not used to money. I was 21 when I started working. So if I were to go back, I mean, based on what he has just told me, I was going to correct a lot of stuff. I'm not regretting because maybe it was part of the journey that I had to go through. But what he has unraveled made me think about my own experiences and all the mistakes that I made along the way. And now I want to hear from the colleagues. What is it that is you want to ask from him, or maybe comment about his very interesting book? Colleagues, you can just indicate, lift your hand, or you can just unmute and say whatever
Okay.
that. Yeah.
I rose my hand.
Okay.
Ole.
Yes, ma.
Yeah, I feel, sometimes when you see a celebrity, you jump. Woo! I'm seeing so and so. So I feel like, jumping because now I'm in the presence of an author, and there's one thing that is so profound about your book that maybe we should ask you to join us as LIASA, because on page 47 of your book, you speak about reading. You speak about reading. So and that's what we are campaigning for. That's what we are doing in schools. And we go to schools, and last year we had an extravaganza in schools. And like Monde was saying, there are so many children who can't read in schools. Now tell us about your reading experience, because I see here you indicate your love for reading.
I started reading at a very young age. I remember there's a book that my mom used to read me as a toddler, but I can't remember the title of the book. I could recite that book from the beginning to the end, but without even knowing what I'm reading. It's just that her reading that book to me every night, the words just stuck in my head. They got in my head, and I was able to read that whole book. I think I was like 4 years or 5 years old when I read my first book. So I've always been in love with reading from a very young age. That habit grew out with me throughout my primary years to high school till today. Now I have my own book. So I've always been a fan of reading.
Right. If I may ask you the next question. In your book, you document yourself using narcotics. So most of us as parents are struggling with children going through that experience, and for the mere fact that you took yourself out of the rat, and now you are the Ole that we today are celebrating. What advice can you give us, because now you have lived the experience? What advice can you give to us as parents to say, if you see your child doing this, doing that, how should we be able to support our children?
Firstly, I'd like to say habit formation. Habits are what lead to these kind of things. You need to figure out exactly what it is your child is doing on a daily basis. You need to keep them busy. What are you keeping them occupied with? And it shouldn't be something that you're forcing them to do. You need to identify his or her passion and take it from there, you understand? So once you've identified their passion, make sure they stick to that. I remember with me, I was a swimmer. I was a professional swimmer. So my dad made sure that every single day I was at swimming practice. I'd go to school, come back from school and go to swimming practice. So I didn't have time to do all of these things. But the moment I quit swimming, the moment I stopped, I had a lot of time on my hands. And that's when I started doing all these nasty things. So it's all about habit formation. It's all about keeping your kids occupied and making sure that they are always busy with something that is constructive.
Thank you very much, Oli.
Thanks, Jeanette, for that question. I'm like thinking maybe I should ask Ole, how do you balance in terms, I mean, with most parents, they're using the television as to babysit the kids. I mean, you're looking at cartoon networks from the minute they come from the, if now they're from school, they're sitting in front of the television, there's cartoon networks, and from now on, it will be till Monday, they will be in front of the television. How do you balance that? Or how, like maybe you can draw from your experience, the television, the distractions, your devices, the social media, and then the books on the other side. How do you strike a balance?
Nowadays, since technology has improved, we have smart TVs, there's YouTube. You can utilize YouTube for the right things. You can get proper sermons for your kids to watch. You can get constructive videos or motivational videos that talk about money, that talk about concentration, that talk about all these positive things for your kids to watch. And trust me, they will enjoy them. Anything that has to do with money, kids love, because kids love money. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a kid. I know I love money. So yeah.
That's true. Talking about money, that's very interesting because you have to always have got some. You need coins so that you can get something. But what is important is for them to know. For example, I know someone who's got an empty 2-liter Coke where the kids are encouraged from the beginning of the year up till the end to drop in some coins there. And at the end of the year, that money is used to buy something important for the kids, maybe for the Christmas. So that is one of the things that I've learned from my cousin, that I mean, putting that empty 2-liter, it's on its own. It's assisting the young ones to be able to be when it comes to money, to know that it doesn't necessarily mean that once you have the money in your pocket, you have to run to the nearest shop to buy something. You must always have a plan. Colleagues,
I see Malifu has hand is up.
Okay.
Yes.
Malifu?
Thank you, Monde. Thank you, Ole. With your book, I think I'm going to read that book. I was thinking like this thing about mental health. It shouldn't only be done at schools. It should also be done at the communities. Because like one thing that I've realized is that in our communities, most people like they lack knowledge about this mental health thing. I can give an example of something that has happened like this week in my area where I'm staying. There's a girl, she's 15 years old and she hanged herself.
Sure.
And then like everybody in the community is saying like, that girl is spoiled. She had everything. Why should she hang herself? She didn't have any reason to do that. But because of like the lack of knowledge of like there are things that even the teenagers are going through that the parents are not aware of, they will say that because parents, they think that whenever I spoil my child and I buy them clothes and they have cell phones and everything, they should be happy. They should do well at school. They should behave. But like not knowing that like in the background, there are a lot of things that like most kids are going through that led to this young lady at the age of 15.
We're missing you. We've lost.
So I was saying like this thing should be taught to the community because like if ever the community can move with, sorry, Monday, okay, done.
Okay, thanks, Mapenya. Oliver, do you want to comment?
Yeah, I can. I totally agree with that. It shouldn't just be taught at schools. We lack knowledge in the townships and the locations. We lack knowledge about mental health. Once you see someone with an episode of some sort of mental health, already you have a conclusion that that person is psycho, that person is psychotic, there's something wrong with that person without actually understanding the basis or having the knowledge of what is going on with that person. So we definitely need to educate our people about mental health.
Thanks a lot. And thanks, Anna, for the comment. Because
Monday?
really, hello?
Yeah, there's a comment in the chat box. James Seal is saying, good day, I do not have audio. Congratulations on the book. My question is whether you plan on becoming an author or are there other avenues you still would like to pursue? Second question is whether do you plan on going back to finish school?
Can I answer that now?
Yes.
Please.
I am planning on becoming I'm already an author, so this is something I'm going to pursue for a lifetime. I'm going to write many more books. And about the school part, I am actually currently doing my matric. I've gone back to school. So after I get my matric certificate, I'm definitely going to varsity. So yeah.
Oh, that is
wow. Yes. Yeah, that's a true inspiration. You had to get off the horse first to decide, is this the route for me? And then, but now you have seen the gap. I know I know you will be able to maneuver the system. I see Keho's hand is up.
Hi, Keho.
Yes, thank you, Monde, for the direction of the questions. So I just wanted to find out from Ole that do you think South Africa is doing enough with regard to mental health? Because there's always this stigma about mental health. You know, people talk about diabetes, high blood, and promoting all these other.
Mute yourself, please. Thank you. Sorry, Keho.
Yes. All these things are being, promoted or rather made awareness about all these other sicknesses that you sort of can see, but you can see mental health is sort of a silent killer. And in our society, we're not talking about this. It's like a secret, so do you think we are really as a country doing enough? And what is it maybe from the library side we can augment this challenge to the education? How can we as library assist in terms of promoting this? Do you think it's a challenge in our country that it's not promoted enough?
That is a very great question. That is a very great question. I personally feel like the government is not doing its best when it comes to mental health, because I've experienced it myself. When I was admitted into a psychiatric complex, I saw how we were being treated. It's like we're not going to go out again into the real world and live our lives again. There's all you do is eat and sleep, literally eat and sleep. There's nothing there that keeps you busy. You're not reading, you're not writing. You can't even, your parents can't even bring you a book for you to read. That's how bad it was. So I had to start from, not scratch, I wouldn't say start from scratch, but I had to begin from the bottom again when it comes to reading after I was discharged. So the government can do better. They really can do better. They can invest in patients, education more. So yeah, I personally feel like the government can do better when it comes to assisting mental health victims.
Thank you. Do you still have questions or comments? on the floor.
Monique, can I?
Elma? Yes, Elma.
Sorry, Monique.
Yes,
Yeah,
fine.
thank you. Ollie, all that I can say is I admire you. That's all. Because you've tackled this problem of the mental illness, and you stay positive, and that is actually the way to deal with it, is to stay positive. I just want to ask you something. When you got out of the hospital, how did you feel? Did you all also feel like if somebody see me now, they will know I have a certificate for mental health? You understand?
No, I get the question.
Feeling, was it difficult for you to adapt again in the outside?
Honestly, I did feel some type of way when I was discharged from the mental institution. There was that stigma. There really was that stigma. I felt like people were going to criticize me. I felt like people were going to throw stones at me. At some point, I felt isolated. I felt alone, just like in the title. I felt alone. I felt like there really was no one there for me. But yet again, I did say the support of your family, that's all that matters. My family was always there. So I got through it, and here I am today.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Elma. And listening to what Ole is saying, he's been emphasizing the importance of family and the importance of always be there to support. And I can imagine, well, I mean, listening to what Elma's question, like the first day when you meet people on the street, the very same people who are judging. And I'm connecting it to what Anna was saying about the 16-year-old. People are saying she has got everything. She's surrounded by all the resources, not knowing that there is something deep that she was going through that led her, as she has indicated, to commit a suicide. Colleagues, do you still have a
question from Betsy?
Yeah, morning, Betsy.
Morning, Monday. Thank you. Congratulations to you, Ole. We are very proud of you. We know we are librarians, and therefore we believe in people like you who are contributing towards nation building. It's a pity that some of us haven't read the book. I would have loved for you to have taken us through what the content of the book, is about, so that we can hear your story, we can hear exactly where you were coming from, what had led you to the mental state that you had, and what happened to you to get to where you are. Because it's important for one to learn from a book that is being launched. But my question is, I did psychology. I majored in psychology. And one of the things we're taught back then was that all of us as human beings who have a life wish and a death wish. And so what Malif was talking about with the lady who hanged herself, she was at a state where the death wish overcame her. So some people don't make it when they are going through health issues, mental health issues, and others like you make it. So you, for some reason, managed to have life wish prevail. I've had a bit of a depression and I know what it's about. Even if you have support of family members and everything, and I mean everything, it still all depends on you. So I'm interested in exactly what you did, apart from the family support, what led to Ole to recognize that you are worth living. You still have contribution to make. You still have a purpose in life. And therefore you have even written a book. Take us through that made you to be here with us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question, ma'am. I did some research about depression and I found some coping mechanisms so that I started implementing in my life, like listening to music, going to the gym, just keeping yourself really busy and occupied. So those are the things that I did. I started reading again. I started like all of the things that I used to do before I got depressed. Those are the things that I started doing again. And during that time, I just found myself again through that process, I found myself again. And that's when I realized that I'm actually worth it. This is just a temporary endeavor and it will pass. And it actually did pass. So yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Betty. I've seen a question. I think it's from Elma. She wants to know where can we get the book.
I sell them myself at the moment, so I can give you my contact details and I can deliver it, or we can meet at a central place, or you can get it from my mom. My mom works at the University of the Free State. She also sells them. So yeah.
Okay.
Are you Rosalind's son?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. Okay, it's all in the family. We at CUT Library also would like to have some copies. So if you could just make contact with us.
Okay, ma'am. No
we'll
problem.
talk to Rosalind. All right.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, we are also ordering the books for the UFS LIS. So colleagues, all LIASA members, really, this is our opportunity for your respective libraries. Please get some copies from all. That is the purpose of the launch. We are still going to identify young talents that come, and we will continue to put them on our platform to launch their books. I'm not taking over Monday. You can continue.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Jeanette. Listening to the answer that you've given to after Betty had asked you about what made you to reach a point where you said, now this is the route that I'm taking. From my side, I don't know whether I would hear from you the fact that you were reading a lot. You were able to identify. You were able to see that maybe you once read something about mental health or about other people. Did you read stories about mental health issues that when you were going through this, you could use as a reference point to say, I think now I'm going through what I read or what I heard?
Not really. I didn't really read mental health stories, but what I did do is I watched a lot of sermons, like church sermons on YouTube, like Dr. Miles Monroe, Stephen Furtick, Mike Todd. So I anchored myself on the Word of God, with the Word of God, and I made sure that I started praying. I started praying a lot during that time. So I personally feel like God is the one that delivered me from what I was going through.
Very profound. Thanks. Colleagues, do you have questions before we wrap up?
Monday, mine is just to a comment that I know as libraries, custodians of knowledge, we are doing something, but I would just want to remind us as librarians, this is something that, okay, we do put up displays, but we can go further than that, because sometimes a display doesn't say much. We can go further than that. We heard Oli saying that our education system, it might take a long way to change. That's why we are there to augment what the education cannot provide. So it's where we can provide things like he said, helping public libraries, helping those who can't do CVs to know how to do CVs, financial planning, those who are struggling in the mainstream education, have workshops, financial planning, the university entrepreneurship. I know we have this at UFS, the youth thing that's coming, where we will have students coming to
to showcase their talent in a Creative Commons setup where they will, you know, become entrepreneurs. So these are the kind of things we can start thinking about in our community where education cannot meet, but the library can. So I just wanted to encourage us, because I was listening to him and I thought, yo, actually as libraries, we are doing a lot, but we can look into these things and augment. Thank you.
Thanks, Kecho. That's so true. I've got maybe we still have to talk to Medjinet that when things, I mean, we're all going to, we're not going to be in this era forever post COVID. I've got a feeling that we need to invite you. I see you at the place where we normally invite speakers talking to students. I still have got a feeling that we need you physically coming to the library and addressing your mates so that they can be able to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Because I mean, from now you're talking to librarians, but I still feel like we still need you post-COVID-19, so that you can be able to talk to your age mates and those ones who are younger, so that they can be able to prepare themselves. I'm thinking now there's this era that we are in, a new person who's coming to register at the university. Some of them, they are told you are going to learn online. It should be frustrating. It's frustrating, because they don't know what they're going through. Such frustrations may lead to them maybe dropping out, because they will be not knowing, coming from a school situation where there's a teacher in front of you. All of a sudden now we are thrown into the deep end. I will still have to convince. I don't think she will have a problem. I feel like we need you to come physically and talk to some of the students. I'm sure they will really enjoy having a conversation with you. You said writing is something that you want to pursue further. Is there a draft that is now waiting in your folder that you're planning to publish in the not so near future? I'm just like very interested in knowing what are the other things that you have in mind. The money part, that one is, I know you definitely want to go that route and make more money. And I'm just reminded of this song "Funubane Man." It's like when you listen to it, that's what you want. Is that what is it that you want in terms of writing? Do you have some other stuff that is waiting in your folder?
Definitely, I've started working on my second book already.
That's great.
So that is coming soon. But I'm not gonna explain what it's gonna be about. You will read that once it's been launched, once it's been published, actually.
Okay.
Thank you.
No,
And I see Mahlaga Molepo has raised his hand.
Okay. Yes, and Tate Mahlaga. Hello.
Unmute, Mr. Molepo.
Oh.
Yes, I just want to commend the author for a job well done, and for his courage in dealing with mental health issues. I've got a question, but before I can ask a question, he comes across as a philosopher in the making, because some of the issues that he raised, mostly about the education system, exude cultural, philosophical, social, and political dimensions. The issue about the education system, I know that it's a huge problem in our country. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not willing to engage with the issue because there's a lot of sugarcoating. I just want to ask him, because he mentioned that he plans on, after getting his matric certificate, he plans on going to university to study further. I just want to ask him, which career path is he going to follow, and in which discipline and field?
Thanks. Yes, you can go on.
I'd like to study law. I'm definitely going to study law at the University of the Free State. I personally feel like my personality and my personality allows me to go there and study law because of the things that I've heard and the things that I've read about law. So yeah.
So are we having a Berry Roo or Tembeka Ngukai Toby in the making?
You're having a Dalimpov.
Or a Dalimpov, yes. No, but that is interesting, and wishing you all the best. Colleagues, I think we should wrap up now. If there are there any questions, because I can't see the chat box. We are fine. On behalf of LIASA, I would like to thank you for sharing the. I mean, it's a book launch, but we got more than what we wanted, because what you were saying is things that we could relate. It's things that we know someone, or we had gone through this. As I've indicated earlier, I still feel like we need to invite you so that we can be able to share this information with the fellow students. I mean, coming to university, it's not an easy thing. That transition from high school to a university, I used to tell a Neo about it. That is, I was coming from a traditional, like your rural school, high school, and at high school, at university, it took me about 6 months for me to adjust. Even when I was listening in the lecture hall, I think I went through a little bit of challenge, in the sense that we're coming from a traditional rural school where you're not, in terms of speaking, it's, when a teacher is, even an English teacher comes and say, namhlanje sizawuthetha nge-verbs, and she's a teacher and is teaching you about verbs, but she's saying, sizawuthetha ngantoni nge-verbs. And then you feel like you reach a place, and now where everyone is speaking English, and some students are saying, Neo used to laugh when I say, there was this student who used to say, just to add on what you've just said. Then I'll look at it and say, what are you adding? I mean, where do you get to add as a student? So those type of things, maybe it's part of like being disturbed mentally, going into an institution where you find that some other students are coming from former Model C, and you are coming from a rural school where even speaking was not part of the it was not part of the subject. It was only the teacher doing the whole talking. Thanks a lot once more, and we're looking forward. I'm sure other colleagues also are going to contact you so that we can buy for our libraries, and also I'm looking forward to buying it for myself. I'm also thinking of, there are some few people that I also want to give this copies just to read my nephews and nieces, so that they can be able to read and be able to see what what you went through, because they also at some point will go through such experiences. And I'm also looking forward to the next book. I know you didn't want to give us more. It's still in the folder. It's a draft. But we're looking forward to the next one. Thanks a lot. Jeanette, I don't know whether you want your parting shots, or is it Kolela or Kiho?
No, it's me.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ole.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so glad that today I spoke to you. I feel important already. I feel, yes, I feel important. I have spoken to Ole. You know, I read this book. I think it was last month when Rosalind brought the books. I laid down and I slept around 3 in the morning because I couldn't put it down. You know, I was in that space, you know, immersed in the experience. And I said, you know what, we are definitely going to launch this book. Now, I agree with Monde. Definitely, when the COVID thing is set aside, we will definitely invite you to the university. And then I know the students are going to ask you questions, so be prepared. Whether it's this book or the one that is in the folder, we are definitely launching it at the university. So this is a big thing. I'm putting you on a spot already. We are excited, and really from our side as LIASA Free State branch, we are again congratulating you. Colleagues, make contact with Ole. Maybe you can share the cell number with Anna Marie.
I'll
Anna
leave
Marie,
it in the
leave the cell number on the chat, and then colleagues can contact you. And then please order the books for your respective libraries for your children, so that we also have a copy in our libraries, and we can also brag about it. I'm very excited to have young people like you, Ole, who are sharing their experiences at a young age to inspire other young people. This book didn't only motivate you, young people. I was motivated to learn that we must have a mentor. And I've always been telling Betsy, you know, Betsy, you are my mentor, although you are not saying things, but the way you do things, the way you guide me to say, G, do this 1, 2, 3, really you are a good a mentor. And I said to her, please be my mentor, even for me being in this position. So when I read in your book that people should have mentors, I realized it's a big thing. You cannot be self sufficient. And you riding in a donkey cart in Limpopo, I was like, wow, this is right, a humble experience. He is from the suburbs, and now he's in the rural areas riding on a donkey cart, and I think it must have been an amazing experience for you.
It was.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. So we'll keep in touch. We are waiting for the new book. Definitely we invite you as the university, and on behalf of LIASA Free State branch, once again, congratulations, well done. And really we pray that you receive more blessings, so that you can continue to be a true inspiration that you are. And sometimes, you know, although people go through bad things, sometimes I'm saying I'm glad people went through those bad experiences, so that they can come back and share with us to say, hey people, these are what are happening, and this is how I've addressed the situation. You are building a nation. Betsy mentioned that really this is truly a nation building. And I also like the sentiment that Mahlaga said, that you are a philosopher, somebody who can critique an education system and question and say, you know, the education system, they even expect dogs to swim, and then it's only the fish that can swim. How do you expect the dog to be to show its creativeness in the water? It might not. Yes. So thank you very much. And from the bottom of our hearts, it was indeed a great honor and a privilege for us to have you in our midst. And I think maybe colleagues will also invite you in their respective organization, where you will be able to address their constituencies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, so your closing remarks, Oli, what can you say to us?
I'd like to say thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and share with you guys what I went through and my personal experiences. And I hope to see you again. I hope this is not the last time of us speaking. It was a lovely time. It honestly was.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much, colleagues. I think now we will call it a day. Thank you very much. And goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, Amma.
Bye.
Bye, bye, Celia.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Zungu. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Khadi.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
Mapenyo. Bye, Keho. Bye. Bye, Mudise.